I would prefer to watch it mostly. Yeah, it's okay. Then we'll play until you can not longer stay. Just let me know, tell me like, okay, I need to go now. And we'll switch over to another game. Honestly, I'm not that ungrateful today because that gives me the opportunity to actually make myself an actual lunch. Because I'm bloody fucking hungry. And some apple slices will tide me over, but they're not ideal. But first things first. I found out that you can actually see how many feathers you have in the individual areas. So, that is going to be massively helpful, at least. At least somewhat. So, in der Vitrine. No, I would point out those are most definitively not Star Wars. Actually, I'm pretty sure they are. I think they're small enough that you can't see it, but if you could see them in their full glory, I'd hate to point out that you probably don't want to learn more about it. It's a bit of my weep existence. Also, I'm pretty sure I know precisely who you are. Welcome, welcome. What was I doing? Oh yeah, right, this one. So, actually, since I'll just send Julia a picture later, then you can look at them in their full glory. So you're gonna be pleased. Now then, where was I? Oh yeah, right. Money making, very important. We start collecting feathers now because, well, Little Strategy paid a good amount of money for it, and so we'll, well, go for gold, go for broke, whatever the fuck, by doing what I learned through long, long lessons in the old time. No problem. Now then, since I've been playing games since an soulish long amount of time ago, there are a few things we can do. I mean, this area we'll probably have to do a very, very intense search for. But for the outlying areas, since usually now developers are not complete assholes, so they're probably not gonna put anything just randomly in the wilderness. We'll quickly actually look at the buildings, see if we can find any of the feathers there, and go on. Once we reach Florentine again, we'll be in the rather annoying state where we have to probably do a zigzag search for all of the areas. Even that is not a guarantee, honestly. But hey, ever since we built up this area, now look, it doesn't look as... well, as... weather-wise. Now then, I think there aren't actually that many buildings outside. So if we take a rough walk around, we should get across any sort of structure and check it out and see if we can find any of the feathers. Yeah, technically speaking, only 3 left here, so I hope that as a start this will make this a bit, yeah, look. I do wonder, do I get a sound when I get close to them? Yes, I do. Okay. Now that's going to be a very important... a very important little thing. Because if there's actually a audio clue that tells you like, okay, you're close to a feather, even if you need to be quite a bit closer than I would like, just gonna make this a bit easier. Also, I hope at least. Of course, while this is going on, I will also take the nice opportunity to explain in large and long detail the good old-fashioned idea of the value of labor and why it is important that you price yourself right. Very important little thing, I say. Very, very important little thing indeed. I can't go there because that's outside the map. That's good. But that is neither here. For the moment, I'm just going to actually kind of would like for such a well, in the end, somewhat menial task of running around and looking, I might actually set up some music, which is always such a pleasurable experience because it kind of means that you have to well, first find music that you would like to listen to. That is another feather, isn't it? Yes, it is. And then secondly, you have to find a version that is not copyright protected, which, you know, rather important thing. Rather important thing indeed. Also because, you know, under normal circumstances, I actually do like the sound design they have with this game, where it's the maxim of sometimes a a little less is actually more, because they don't blast you with fucking music loudly and proudly all the time. Instead, they are rather subdued most of the time. Which, you know, fair enough, I do enjoy that. And when they do play music, it does have impact, mind you. Like, you know, sometimes they just do what they do now. Having some nice suspension music coming on. Also, I should actually, if I forget this, I'll write myself down that I sent a photo, because otherwise I'll forget it. I know myself too well for that. I am very good at forgetting things, let's just say. Okay. Now we finished the first one. 2 feathers collected, which means there should be 1 more feather in this area. So once again, to excuse my neighbors, they haven't really learned their lesson. You would think that, you know, after all of this nonsense started this morning, and people shouting and going through the apartments and looking, you know, if there's any water on the walls now, you would assume they just would stop. But no, they continue on most brutally. Yes, so just to reiterate, this stream is quite literally sponsored by Strategy and him alone. For the simple purpose of watching me run around on my little horsey and on foot for the foreseeable future looking for feathers. Now, the reason why I choose this area to start is actually to show you my methodology. Hey, that was strange on my tongue and probably not completely right, but doesn't really matter. So the method I am using is basically the method that I've been using in olden games when you didn't have guides. So normally the easiest way you can do it is just go, you know, in a bad mass, then you go back down, then you do it again, and so on and so on. But what I learned in my time playing games is that usually, while developers are assholes for their collectibles, they usually don't just put them randomly into nowhere land, you know, especially not these feathers. They're kind of usually on buildings or on ledges or anything, but you don't usually find them sitting on the ground, you know. So if you take a rough look in outside areas like this and just check the buildings, you have a pretty good chance finding them. And as for the areas themselves, well, these you will have to do slowly but surely. Now, in bigger cities, like, you know, the one we're going to be visiting soonish, you do kind of have to basically make it into smaller parts as well, because otherwise you'll be really screwed. So we're going to use the already set up districts basically as guidelines and use those as a bit of guiding light. Otherwise, oh well. Now the question is, I do kind of... Oh, there's a feather up there, yeah. See, I can see it shining. Actually, how does this look in Eagle Vision? Okay, that's actually pretty damn far. It might actually not a bad idea to use Eagle Vision every once in a while to check around us. And as I said, you know, at least one advantage so far is that these feathers are usually not on the ground, just lying around. Well, it's got to make this a bit better, mind you, but we're still talking about a long task ahead. I probably should actually, before I continue doing this, take another walk along the wall. Mostly because I'm pretty sure, since I was only looking for the treasures, I might have missed it. Oh, well, something. I don't think there's any access from the outside, so I don't think we need to worry too much about that just yet. You know, I mean, some random ledge outside here, you know, because that would be kind of nice, holish. That wouldn't make much sense, because why would you have a ledge outside there? Seems to me like you'd be inviting the enemy in. The problem with the sound cue is that if I rely on that, so basically, you know, if I use my little ear holes to hear... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, but okay. Disadvantage of that is that then I can actually use any music. And of course, the initial goal is, and that is kind of how we're gonna treat this, we're gonna try to find most of the feathers in Florence and in Borsy and getting that done and over with. We don't need to find all of them, mind you. Just most of them. The biggest part of this particular challenge will indeed be once we reach Venice and have unlocked the different areas, because Venice has, I think, almost half the feathers anyway. So depending on how much work we invest now, the more we get out later. One of those nice little things, isn't it? Advantageous indeed. I'm sure there's only chests up there, because these are the towers that were kind of rebuilt, where we repaired the area. I don't really think there's any huge reason for us to go there. I also don't hear the sound clue. Yeah, this is indeed going to be a bit of a hassle. Oh, wait a second. I collected 1, 2, 3 feathers, so I already had one. Shouldn't that mean that I'm done with this area actually? If I now continue being videos. Yeah. I guess there's really no good reason to justify that. Okay, so next is the Toscana or Valence? Going off the numbers, I think Tuscany is probably going to be less of a hassle. Yeah, I get it. That is my system for the moment. I'm not saying it's going to be ideal, but it should serve us well enough. Where's the fucking exit? Probably somewhere around here, considering there's the station. Actually, I don't need to use mouse. I have money. I can just force travel. Well then. I think we'll start here. The south gate. Because there are quite a few buildings outside that we need to check. And I'll quickly eat a bit of apple. Yeah, lots of minor buildings that we do need to check out. Okay, we'll start here. We're doing this one, this one, this one, this one. Get the whole southern part done. We work ourselves up here. Got this. I got this. This leads to friends, doesn't matter. And then we end here. Yeah, that's like a pretty solid plan. How many do we need to collect here? 10 more feathers are around. And I guess while I'm at it, I can also collect some treasure chests. If they come our way. As I said multiple times, they are not really worth it, but since they use the same sound clue as the feathers, not opening them could be potentially leading the wrong way. I don't know about you, but I'd rather fucking avoid getting my hopes up and then getting them dashed. Because all I heard was a chest. And as I said before, somewhere along the line of this particular subset of things we will be doing, I'll explain to you about why it is so important to be well aware of the value of labor and why it is so important to apply this correctly. Otherwise, you might find yourself, well, you know, somewhat screwed. Next building. And as I already said, since we do have a bit of leeway towards the end, there is indeed... Well, there are options, let's just say. We're not yet out of options. Not completely at the very least. And of course, you know, the developer wants to be a complete asshole, they'll just put a random feather somewhere out here. Like this particular treasure chest. And again, the treasure chests are a bit nicer to collect because there are actually in-game maps for that, so that is kinda, you know, not something one needs to be too worried about. Because you just have to buy the map and collect them. Why the collection part takes a bit longer. Obviously, because you will have to run all over the map. But at the end, still, a lot more...
Not like any app I've ever seen. Not a
tameable.
very good
Yes, that's really a good way to describe it. However, taming the beast that is collecting feathers is indeed. Remember that when I originally played Assassin's Creed 2, all those years ago, I pretty sure I did this towards the end of the game, where I basically had already everything pretty much everything else unlocked. The only thing that was left was quite literally just collecting chests and feathers, and well, as I said, the chests really, well, it costs a bit of time, sure, but it wasn't that annoying in general. The feathers, however, I just at some point gave up on because it just didn't seem like it would be worth it. Did I ever look up what I get for that actually? Because I think you get a reward for that. I don't know, maybe it's a costume or something, I don't remember. But I remember a lot of people saying like it's absolutely not worth it, you get nothing useful out of it, so it's really the kind of thing that you really just do to, in general terms, 100% a game. Quite literally, that's the only reason why you would do it. And I said, you know, you would assume that after such a massive undertaking you would end up at least a nice reward for your troubles, but you don't. You indeed do not end up with anything nice for your troubles. So excuse me if I'm a bit more, or more often, let's say, silent than I would usually be. I am rather intensely listening for any sign. Yeah, there's a face up there, I can see you. Of that particular audio clue. Doesn't seem to have that much range though, which... well, that doesn't bode well for us, does it now? See, I need to be basically this close for it to start. I mean, good thing if it's actually hazard that is, for example, below us or above us, you know, can help me go like, okay, there's definitely one here, or a chest, for that matter. And yeah, at least for the moment my theory holds up that feathers are not just on the ground. But that alone is gonna make it a lot better for me. Because if I had to consider searching all of the ground as well, especially in larger areas like this or Horsey, then well, we'd be in for a bit longer. Yeah. I do think there's quite a bit of value to my little sea reef so far, because the only things that have ever been actually on the ground so far have actually been chests. And since I said, you know, these are basically just an afterthought, quite literally, to the other things. I mean, I'm not gonna let my guard down already right off the bat. That seems like a bit of a bad idea. But you know, better be careful. Because after all, you know, if after a while you realize, okay, I now have sufficient proof that feathers indeed can and will be on the ground and not just on a ledge that is close to the ground but actually on the ground, you might find yourself cursing rather loudly. I'd rather, you know, avoid that whole cursing part. Seriously, what an interesting idea. Star Wars figurines, eh? I guess, even though Star Wars has been mistreated and mishandled by Disney for quite a while, it is still amongst the more popular choices, I suppose. But then again, why would I go for the popular choice? It's after all me we're talking about. Never made much of a secret out of my personal interests. Distinct feelings are gonna be a bit as I should put most of the feathers are inside the walls. I think about it, this also means that we will have to reclimb every tower. At least somewhat, in order to make somewhat sure. Because while we initially were doing this, of course I wasn't actually looking for feathers. In fact, I was somewhat deliberately ignoring them. Because, you know, at that point I was still a young and innocent man, thinking to myself that, I'll never bother with these things again. I know what a pain in the ass they are. Why would I do this to myself? Well, I did a lot of money. And changed my perspective on the matter quickly and brutally. Although I will have you know, from a purely gameplay perspective, I mean, you know, I'm a bit of a strange one when it comes to that. I can literally watch someone grind levels for a few hours while doing nothing else. No problem. I don't think this is the most commercialable. Yeah, that's a word I just came up with because I was looking for another word. My brain was like, nope, I gotta use this now. Most commercial way of streaming. But then, you know, actually fits rather nicely in what I would probably actually watch. Now that I think about it. Not necessarily, you know, someone going like, yay, we'll go and collect feathers now. But you know, this series stands. I've literally watched like a 6-hour-long video of somebody raising levels in an old-ass RPG. I think it was Final Fantasy 1 or 2, which basically was just walking around the map, triggering random encounters, fighting them, winning, doing it again, over and over. Mind you, that guy was playing on original hardware. That was not emulated. There was no speed up button or nothing. He actually had to do this the old-fashioned way. I don't even know why he did it, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe he did know at some point and I just forgot. Could very well be. I did kind of enjoy it though. It was a nice background having somebody just, you know, randomly ramble about things. Like the weather, for example. You know, in the spirit of these unnamed YouTuber that whose name I have long since forgotten, to be fair, and I'm very sorry if he ever should watch this and go like, hey, that was me, you bitch. I will apologize properly, but you know, unnamed Final Fantasy 1 or 2 player running around for 6 hours, leveling up. Yes, if you ever come along and watch this, once it's uploaded on YouTube, I apologize for forgetting your name. It's not on purpose, I'm just not really good with names. And dates and other things, to be fair. Actually, a lot of things are not good at, is it? Isn't it?
Come forward.
Well, I guess that's just life. We can't be all good at everything. Otherwise, you know, we all would be rather bored rather quickly, I'm assuming. Okay, so we have okay, this structure will need a bit of time. Then we have this one, this one, this one, and we go down here, and then we start from here. The good thing is, in the inside of this particular city, I mean, there are some annoying things about it because there's a lots of height differences in the city. I remind you of these towers they have, and we will need to climb every last one of these towers again in order to check their tops. But in general terms, still not a big place. But that doesn't guarantee much, mind you. Because, frankly, the whole reason why I originally gave up on the whole other thing was that I realized that some of them are really assholishly hidden. Did I hear the sound cue? No. To be fair, at least around this area, it seems that these sounds are set up a bit too abrupt. See, like this. This is not the sort of thing that should just stop that abruptly. Use a bit of a fade out, you know. That's what I do with music. Ever since I started using the actual program for doing that, because, you know, kinda neato. Actually, I must admit, you know, for all my complaints about companies like Adobe, because they're assholes, and nowadays they are actually not even offering their product any longer, but just a service. You know, you can actually pay them a monthly subscription to use the services, which I would never do because that is such a bad practice. Honestly, I will kindly refrain. But their products in and of themselves, they're actually good. When I've been playing around with the, I don't even know which one it is, but this is one of the older Adobe Premieres. Ekberg got that for me, and I never actually started using it because at this point I had played around with another software and didn't really want to do the older changeover, mind you. Now that I started to use it, it's actually pretty fucking comfortable to work with, honestly. Basically gives me all the tools I need easily available. You know, you want to do a nice little fade instead of an abrupt picture change? No problem, here you go. You want to have a nice fade out for your music? Nice, can just do that. Music doesn't stop abruptly any longer. Pretty sweet deal. And not just that, mind you, there's of course a lot of other things, but you know, you just put that in there and it just works. And if you're like, this is a bit of a too long fade out, it starts too early for my taste, you can just rearrange that by the millisecond easily enough, which I really appreciate. You know, can be a bit of a perfectionist to my own tastes when it comes to stuff like that. You know, working frame by frame sometimes. I've done so in the past, and believe you me, I will do so in the future. Which means that I would probably be a rather horrible choice actually working in the field, because it would take far too long to actually finish anything. Because it's like, but it's not perfect yet. I need more time. I guess that's actually the first time that I do kind of understand the some of the artists' mindset. Because there actually are some artists who are just like that, and they're never satisfied with their work. You literally need to kick them in the ass and go like, listen, stop it. It's good enough. It will never be perfect, it's good enough. Stop trying to make it even better. And so the fact that I know at least 2 people who absolutely fall in that category is yeah, I was ridiculing them for their inability to just, you know, consider the job done. Yeah, and now years later going like, well, how the tides have turned. I'm still not too sure, you know, the audio cues don't really seem to work that well, honestly, so I guess I will have to rely on vision first and foremost, and if that is the case, I might actually set up some music for us and tell the game to not play its own music, because while it's nice, and while I normally do enjoy the more subdued nature for a mission like this, self-imposed one, you are usually far better off actually having something to let your mind drift to. Oops. I wanted to get both of you. But, yeah, I'm not gonna let it just fucking sit there if I see it. But yeah. Maybe some good old, if I can find it, that is, and I can find it for, now without any copyright attached to it. Some nice slow jazz would probably do wonders for the mental state when doing the long-ass quest. Actually, now I think about it. Have we talked about, was part of the deal also collecting the chest strategy? I don't remember, because if so, I'm gonna do this at a later time. Because, you know, it's really just a matter of buy the maps, go to the area, look at your map, see if it's, you know, on your level or not. But do remind me, I don't think we talked about the chests, because mostly, you know, the feathers are already gonna take a while. 100% in the game. Okay, in which case we also need to collect the chests, but yeah, that's not a problem. If we get the feathers out of the way, then we have the largest nuisance out of the way anyway. Okay, now we only need to go through the CS and then we're done. Indeed. Yeah, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, weasel my way out of here. It's not my prerogative at all. Just wanted to clarify if you actually said, because technically speaking, you can just ignore the chest, you know, you're actually not gaining anything from them. I don't even, is there actually a in-game counter for the chests? I'm just gonna check this really quickly. Yeah, there's treasures. Oh, there are actually treasures in the mountains. Oh, good thing that I looked it up, because honestly, there's no reason for us to go into the mountains from a feather perspective. There's also the razors and shit, but those I would have done anyway. There are no feathers in the mountains, which is why I was kind of like, we were going to ignore the mountains, mind you. Screw that. Why would I go through that? But if there's treasure there, we'll have to. But yeah. No problem. I see, you know, I'm doing this from the perspective of having had enough time to come up with at least a somewhat sorted plan. It's not ideal, because as I said, you know, no matter what plan you come up, no matter what sort of experience you bring along, looking for the feathers is a pain in the ass. Which is the whole reason why, you know, there's probably like, I don't even know, 20, 30, 40, 50 different guides that will probably tell you precisely where you find them. But I mean, to be fair, you know, it does give me a nostalgic feeling. Not so much the game itself, because honestly, I'm still on the opinion that the game is not that old. But from the sheer hassle I'm going through. That is indeed something that does make me feel somewhat nostalgic. It's kind of the shit you did with old games. You know, where you had the option of, well, you can hope that one of your friends has the the actual paper guide for it that tells you where to go. Or alternatively, well, good fucking luck. I see a feather. But yeah, once we're inside, I think I'll do one round around the... how the fuck am I even supposed to be getting it? Probably from the next one over. Once we're inside the walls, we'll probably walk along the walls, because I do know that this area actually has ledges outside. The outside of the wall, that is. So we do need to think about this. Actually, now that I think about it. You remember when we had to assassinate the target here? I think actually this whole thing is kind of set up in a way that you might potentially actually can climb on this middle area and then, you know, do a cool assassination from above. And not the sort of botched thing we did of just, you know, running up to him and stabbing him repeatedly in the gut. But you know, an assassin is just somebody, you know, who, for all intents and purposes, murders somebody. Nobody said I need to make it cool. Nobody said I need to make it, you know, inconspicuous. They just said, like, okay, here the guy, kill him. And now, if I have the freedom of just running up to him and stabbing him, why wouldn't I? Also, I do like it, because I do know the game is trying to imply, of course, to some degree, that, you know, you're supposed to be at least somewhat stealthy and, you know, all hidden blade nonsense. Which does make it a lot more fun to just go out and go like, well, murder it is.
No, stay back! Stop!
Afraid of me, bitch? Oh, afraid of me, bitch?
Sorry, I meant no disrespect, truly. Whoa, it's a novel way to get about, I suppose.
It is indeed a very novel way to get about. Now then, I'm gonna quickly check the wall, especially the outside of the wall, because the inside of the wall, once we start zigzagging through the city, we'll see anyway. But the outside, not so much. But of course, you know, climb every bloody tower. And yeah, the sound cue I was kinda somewhat betting on is really a bit too quiet and too limited in space. Be very useful to us. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put myself some music. Was actually a time where even the worst potential soundtrack playing on repeat for fucking 6 hours would be enough for me to get into the zone. It came to grinding. Sadly, those days are somewhat gone. Not any longer dead. Impeccable when it comes to it. Shut up. I'm a busy man, I'm doing busy things. Okay, do I have some throwing knives? Yes, I do. Shut up.
I'm only visiting. I don't know what's going on.
I'm only visiting. I don't know what's going on. Where? Yeah. Actually, in order to mix it up, I'm thinking when precisely I will actually do the treasure hunt. As I said, you know, it's just a matter of going up to the merchant and buying the map. But I guess technically speaking, even if it's not as annoying, it is still quite a bit of a time waster, so we do have to consider how to time ourselves. Otherwise we might end up getting a bit too quickly too sick of it. How the fuck do I get up this wall?
Isn't that dangerous?
Isn't that dangerous? Like, yes, it is.
Come forward.
Okay, that's the other side of that. Standing with me. Would you stop looking at me like that? Okay. So that back there is the wall I wanted to go on. So I just need to quickly climb over there. And I use our eagle eye to eagle eye into the future, and there's nothing here. As long as we get on that wall and check that out, I consider that area done. As I said, and keep it in mind, the goal in this initial feathery collection run is not actually to get all the feathers. That is, we'll always miss at least one or two in any given area and get royally annoyed with it. And instead of sitting there for fucking an hour so annoying yourself, the goal is to get as many as we can early on, the early areas, so that once we reach Venice, we only have to collect hopefully roughly 30 plus little chesties before we can actually refer to a guide for the rest. I mean, I know that might sound like a bit of a cheap way of going about it, but it's only the really only option you have for going for it. Otherwise you will find yourself going slightly insane. The rest is then pure applied method. Okay, there's no way I can go there. You give me a second while I get my pipe ready. Yeah. What the question is, and that is actually a question I couldn't answer yet, at least not for myself, is that's actually a nice way to go over to the value of labor. Namely, the easiest way to determine it is, you know, you break it down to an hourly rate and go like, okay, so how much per hour work do I get in monetary value out of it? And in this case, honestly, I have a hard time making a good estimate for how long it will take to collect the feathers. I mean, you know, the villa, I was like, okay, that can probably be done in like 15 minutes, because A, not many feathers, B, not many structures that we actually actively need to look through to get it done. Yeah, that's not bad. The Toscana, and I'm never gonna call it Tuscany because that's fucking gay, and now there's another horrible thing the American, or generally speaking the English language, does to words. You should never start renaming places, because, you know, these are basically names. You don't usually change names in another language anyway. Apart from this one, Tuscany. Sounds fucking gay, doesn't it? Oh well, complaints aside, this area is the next one with the least amount of feathers in it, but there's a lot more height to it, and whenever height is involved, climbing is involved, and climbing actually slows you down ridiculously much, all things considered. Come on. Okay. But I think we don't actually need to go on this wall piece, I think. Doesn't seem like it. We only need to care about getting on the further back wall again. Guess I could check out this little compound here and get that over with. What does the map actually say? I know that's easy enough to do while we're doing the zigzagging. So it does seem like this little compound thing actually has a lot of easy ways to get up it. Jeez, we're gonna ruin our armor many times here, aren't we?
Does something ail you, friend?
Yeah, I think... I guess from this building we can probably jump over. Should not be a problem. Nima problema, basically.
Get Laju! Merda! You won't escape!
You really wanna do this, eh? Everybody starts like, no, how could this be? He was so young, how could he die? Well, he made the same mistake that everybody else does. The same mistake you can really only do once. Okay, this seems clear. Yeah. I think we're almost half done with the outside walls. Of course, one of the advantages of, you know, going over the walls like this is also that stuff like the little stable building out there, we can actually see on top of it relatively easily, meaning that at least we have a pretty good chance of seeing, you know, things we might otherwise overlook. Because they are not actually shown as, well, proper buildings outside on the map. And then we do... And yeah, I think I'll actually, first and foremost focus on the feather search. And probably sometime later, once we've gotten close and done a few side missions and shit and other things, is when we'll do the older treasures. Maybe now. I'll probably look at the numbers, like how many treasures are in which area, and then go off that, basically. So if an area, for example, this area has a relatively small amount of them, I'll probably just get it done and over with. And of course, you know, while we're doing this, of course, if I run across any little chestings... Ah, shit. I'll just get him out of the way. Reduces the number of chests we have to get our hands on. Which I do would say is a rather good deal. Actually, where precisely on the wall are we right now? Up here. Okay, so now we only need to get back down here. Then we start our little zigzag campaign. And just out of interest, treasures. Florencia 71. We have already done the villa. And just the Toscana still holds. And 64 is not that bad, honestly. Kind of thinking of yeah, once we're done here, we'll probably just buy the treasure map, get this over with, and also probably try our hand at the fucking mountains. I don't actually know how the fuck do you get to the mountains, though. I mean, maybe actually, yeah. I guess it's from 4C, I suppose. Well, maybe. We'll worry about it once it's time to actually worry about that. No reason to make ourselves all nervous before it is even time. So, you know, if we actually do collect all the treasures, we, not necessarily through the treasures themselves, mind you, but through the sheer time, the extra time we're spending, we'll be getting fucking rich. Which I guess, you know, whenever new equipment becomes available, we'll not be in any situation where we couldn't just buy it. I do love that little woman on there. I can't die! I'm too beautiful! It's like, are you sure about that? Are you entirely sure about that? Also, something I saw in passing, interestingly enough, on this particular fine, totally not annoying morning. I did use the improvised first version of the intro and outro and slapped them onto the Final Fantasy videos getting uploaded. Lo and behold, they actually do definitively, I would say, better than, well, pretty much anything I did before, apart from some things. Mia. You know, while I did start the Final Fantasy thing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, cut this into nice little pieces and upload it and slap an intro and outro on it. I did precisely that. And lo and behold, they actually do a bit better. At least I can see that, you know, the, I don't know, 15 seconds or so that the intro is long. People are actually watching that. It's a bit funny, honestly, because they're still not watching most of the content. Okay, I mean, it's a whole fucking hour, so I can get that. Not for everyone. But at least, you know, it keeps them bound long enough to actually watch the fucking intro. Now, the next version I have worked out. It's actually a bit better, honestly. It smoothes things out quite a bit. But there's no abrupt picture changing or anything. There's actually a nice fade out, fade in thing going on there, so that's better. Also, it's a bit shorter because honestly, I do feel like 20 seconds of intro is a bit too long. I kind of want like, okay, let's shorten that a bit. Hey, something to look forward to. Also, you get a nice outro and shit. So you're ready to have people stay as I see or hear you. They're like, oh no, it's horrible. Indeed. It's basically this. They're like, oh look, this intro is actually not badly made. And the music is actually also not that bad. I'm not getting totally annoyed. And then I pop up and then they're like, oh fuck it. I'm out of here. Still though, you know, this actually from a very neutral perspective, you know, all jokes aside, it's actually good because that means that since that intro clearly enhances the production value of my my content, I seem like people are actually willing to at least enjoy that, which can be seen as a bit of a clue of, you know, what we might want to focus on more. Maybe I'll just do videos like that instead of just using the live content as the base of the actual content. You know, it's something to think about. As I said, you know, until I get myself into a new position where I actually do need to do a full-time job, so, you know, at least for, I guess, this month and hopefully the next month as well, I'll work my little butt off. And, you know, that means that I'll be doing, well, what I would be doing for any full-time job, you know. I'm trying to work for 8 hours at least a day for 5 days a week. Which right now is more like 7 days a week, but you know. Honestly, it's kind of fun. It's actually something I can be somewhat passionate about, you know. When I sit down and start doing some shit in Clipart or anything, I actually do enjoy that. Doesn't mean that it is not work, mind you. It is actually really, really tiring and focus-intensive work, but it's enjoyable work. Quite enjoyable, actually.
Cannot do that. Not so well, anyway.
And you know, when it comes to work, I've always been of the opinion it's not just about the money, honestly. It's far better to find a job that you actually, if not enjoy, at least can tolerate doing. Because finding work that you can actually enjoy in all of its aspects is honestly pretty hard. Not gonna lie. Also, of course, you know, and that is something I have been saying for, I think, is this the 3rd day or is this only the 2nd day? I don't know. As I said, there is also the channel trailer in the making. Because YouTube continuously annoys me if that goes like, shouldn't you have something like that? Don't you just want to push one of your more famous videos? And I'm like, I don't have famous videos, YouTube. That's not gonna work. I'm just gonna create one, fuck it. No problem with that, technically speaking. Apart from the fact that in order to do so, I would actually like to record a little skit I did. What I can't if my neighbors continuously start randomly fucking polluting the world with their sounds. But as soon as I can be reasonably sure they will be fucking quiet, at least for a little bit. Yes, I too. There. Because then you at least have something. You're probably gonna get like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But it's, I mean, you know, as long as it works. After all, a lot of this is, once again, it is about having a bit of fun with it. If you can't having at least a bit of fun with it, then I'm kinda losing out. That was not the direction I wanted to jump in, but okay, game. No. I am, however, running out of knives rather alarmingly fast at this point. And that is the tower I climbed last. If I use my little eagle eye, my eye of splendid eagleness, then I can see that there's a feather. See, if I don't do this often enough, this thing is actually pretty fucking hard to see from here. But thanks to the power of Eagle Vision 2.0, I can actually get away with it. I just need to find the way to climb around this bloody tower until I get to it. Actually, before I do this, I will actually climb upstairs. Check that out. Because otherwise I would have to climb this one again. I'd rather not. I don't know about you, but this is actually the one thing that is going to slow us down the most. Areas with large height differences. That's probably the one thing that's going to slow us down the absolute most. Running, sprinting, riding, all of that, pretty cool. Running up one small building, no problem at all. Get down. No, I just refuse. I do not think I will. I think I'll stay up here. I like it up here. Got used to it now. The view is nice. The weather is good. Etsu just wants to take a nice little long sun bath up here. Which would probably work a lot better if he actually removed his bloody hood. But mwah. Doesn't seem like there's anything in the marketplace, at least. This was the tower that was not easy to climb, if memory serves. Oh, well, it was annoying to climb because you needed to start at the right side. It was a bit further than I had wanted to jump, but okay game, if you say so. Just making sure, just making absolutely sure. I guess that up. Where's the archer? Oh, there he was. Again, I want to do this the annoying way. Fucking fine, I'll get it. See, this is part of the reason why I think the climbing will be the part that will slow us down to no end. Which is probably gonna be the main annoyance here, honestly. See, this would be an ideal place to hide a feather, wouldn't it be? I do think that the eagle vision is somewhat too limited, honestly. Shouldn't really rely on that too heavily, honestly. Okay, so from here we go over there again. Not that we have much of a choice, mind you. We do have to. I swear to God, I fell into the exact same bloody fucking hole again, eh? It's, trying to be fair, that's almost skilled. Just not in the way I want to be skilled.
No, not here.
Hey, you got to pay to play with us.
I guess at least the ladies have it right. But yes, you need have to fucking pay. Of course, you know, stuff like this where there's lots of little connecting wooden thingies. I can easily imagine there being a few feathers in such areas. I hope though that they're not doing it too much because, well, you know, you can only check so well. So long, still, even though we now are in a larger area, so far it still holds up. That no chests are actually, no chests, nonsense, no feathers actually on the ground. Which, you know, still at the end of the day does make me a bit more hopeful for my immediate future.
Has he lost his mind? Completely pazzo. Might have to deal with this or something.
Might have to deal with this one. Try a look at it. Do try. See how this is going to end for you. Once more, nobody has informed these poor fuckers that there's a very dangerous man around, and you know, he's easily identifiable by the simple fact that he has a tendency to wear a bloody fucking white hooded outfit. Maybe about time somebody sent a warning out. Actually, I think we will not have that many problems in Florence, actually, because we are wearing the Medici cape. Oh well, another tower to climb. That's precisely the part I was not looking forward to in this city. The height differences. There are many. And you will have to go through them all. Of course, it would be one thing if that would just be, you know, one singular side up climb, in which case we would still be making quite a bit of progress. The fact that you are regularly forced to climb actually sideways around the bloody tower does not really please me at all. In fact, I'd say it's probably the one thing that keeps me from Treasure chest.
Eccolo! Get him!
Get here. Bye.
Don't get away!
I mean, at least he's fucking dedicated to his job. Falls off this fucking ass high tower. Still screams, "You're not gonna get away from me!" Get splats. And then I will use the opportunity though